Hey everybody, this is Zang here from Broken Neck Radio, and I of course have on the line with me, I have Lee. He is the lead guitarist from the Wacken Metal Battle Canada Champions Mutank. How are you doing, Lee?
Not too fucking shabby, man. I gotta say, just back from a wicked adventure over in Deutschland, over in the holy grounds of Wacken. You know, adjusting to a normal life. So depressed.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, the last time we spoke to you, you were hanging out back in TO there at the Wacken Metal Battle Finals. You were talking to our very own Reckless Ron.
Yeah.
You know, he was chatting with you guys and, you know, getting ready for your battle now. After you guys won, how did it feel, you know, how long after you winning did it take for it to sink in that you guys are going to be representing Canada over in Wacken?
Pretty much until we got to Wacken and walked up on stage, because it was just so much to organize and so much to put in place for all this to happen. We were one of the last qualifying bands, you know, to make it over there. I mean, you know, like everything had to be done so quickly. We had to get, you know, all of our crew lined up and things like that. It was really like probably the fastest month looking back in my life. Just you know, to arrange everything. You know, you've got baggage for 10 people and this and that and this and that. It was just it was a psycho month, just trying to, like, you know, arrange everything that was going to happen over there. And before I knew it, you know, we were in front of, you know, how many thousands of people? You know, I don't know, 2,000-3,000 people, and the curtain was just about to open, and yeah, we were.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, what was I going to say? So in that month that you guys, you know, up until you guys left, I know during the time that it happened, I'm sure nobody would admit it. Who would you say in the band was the most, I guess, nervous?
Nervous? Damn, that's a good question. Props to you. I would probably say our drummer, not to like point his finger anywhere, not in like a negative, not in a negative way whatsoever. It's just because I guess at this point, you know, the only shows that he has ever played live were Mutank shows. Like, he has never played a concert beforehand. He's really only been a drummer, like, ever since the band started. He was a drummer for a couple of, I believe, maybe a year, you know, when he was 14, 15, and then he gave it up for probably 10, 15 years. And then he started again once Mutank was looking for a drummer, you know, like the guys who started Mutank. We got in touch with this guy, and he was a guitar player, but he had a sick jam room, and he was just so loyal and dedicated. But he was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to play drums. So he re-taught himself how to play drums, and, you know, since then, I mean, pretty much every show, he's just been rocking it, you know. I would probably say the most nervous person for the show is him, you know, just because he, number one, everything I just mentioned, plus he doesn't drink, so that can't really cool him out.
Now, as everybody knows, being in a band is like being in a family, and when something big happens, such as winning the Wacken Metal Battle Finals and being able to represent your country overseas, you know, of course, as we're talking about, you know, who was most nervous, but who stepped up to the plate in the band? Who would you give props to being, you know, that anchor, that, you know, the captain kind of thing?
Well, you know, everything really relies on everybody together as being, you know, as being everything. I mean, there's nobody in this band you could subtract, and everything would still work as well as it does. I mean, we all have our little, I guess you would say, trades within the band. It's like, for myself, I'm more so management. You know, Stephen Reynolds is definitely the creative force. Stephen Breen, creative force. Ahmed, you know, on drums, he's definitely, you know, when it comes to finances and things like that, he's the king. Everybody just kind of does everything so well together. The way I look at it, it's that, you know, bands nowadays, like, you know, you're not handed, you know, record deals like you were, I'd say, you know, back in the 70s, 80s, maybe even the 90s, you know. Here's a contract, and here's like a pile of dope, go have fun on the road, you know. It's like everybody has to really pull together and do a second job. It's really like drummer / treasurer and, you know, singer / you know, creative arts kind of thing. It's like everybody needs to pull together, and that's the only way things are going to work. So, I mean, with regards to, you know, to answer your question straight, as the captain of the band, there would never be one captain of the band. I mean, you have your lead singer, you've got your drummer, you've got this and that, but there can never be one without the other. Everybody everybody relies on each other, and that's why we've come to the point where we are. I've been in many bands as the other guys in this group, and in order to be a band who has made it so far in just 1 year, it really relies on how well everybody works together so well. I mean, I'm sure everybody has day jobs who do this and things like that, and if there's one asshole where you work, I mean, things aren't, they're not going to work out. Get rid of them and replace them with somebody who can, and we're just, lucky enough to have, I guess you would say, the staff in Mutank that we do, because everybody's just, we're all gunning for the same thing, which is to take over the planet and every other planet after that.
Well, before we get to the actual Wacken metal battle, or sorry, Wacken open air experience, when as soon as you guys won that, up and until you guys left, did you notice a change, like the way they viewed Mutank? Did you notice that it changed a bit?
Yeah, I think, there was we're so modest and we're such chill dudes. It's just, we didn't change, and we never would, because we love playing all these, I guess you would say smaller shows and things like that. And up until now, we've just really been playing our small club shows, 100 capacity kind of things, And I guess you could say that people's opinion changed on us. Basically, I mean, we got a lot more attention and things like that, but we don't let things go to our head, we're always going to be that band of, outcasts from high school who, get high or not get high, or get drunk or not get drunk, however you want to look at it. And, in our basements, we'll skip in school and just listen to Megadeth and Motorhead records and blasting it and hanging out with our friends, That's the kind of band we are. We're very down to earth, and I think that's, again, why we're in the place that we are. I mean, we're very, very approachable people and things like that. And, we don't have the rock star mentality. And I know a lot of bands that Mutank and former bands of mine that, you play a show with somebody and they may have played their first show for their life and we think they're, king shit and nothing can touch them and things like that. It's just, it's a little bit ridiculous, but we've never had that mentality. I don't know why. It's just the people we are, that create the band. But yeah, no, we're just pretty easygoing dudes who don't think too much of themselves, which keeps, reflects in the music. I mean, we like to keep it honest, and it shows in the music for sure.
Now, if you guys go to their Facebook page, that's, of course, the URL is facebook.com/Bone Brains Not Demolishers.
Demolishers.
Demolishers, sorry. Yeah. If you go there, you'll see some of the photos that they've been posting up on their little journey to Wacken. And one of the things that I did notice was when you guys got off the plane, they had a shuttle there that basically said, Wacken, open air artist shuttle. How did that feel, being this little band from, that's only a year old from Canada, getting off the plane and, immediately being treated to such high degree?
Well, you mentioned it a few minutes ago. I mean, when did it really hit you that you would be playing, Wacken Air? You would be kind of representing Canada? I think that was the moment, when we all got off the plane and everybody had, kind of the snot kicked out of them up until that point. I mean, we were all working so hard, not just the band, but the crew, as we call it, the crew tank. Okay, our media publicist John Asher, our photographer Mihaela Petrescu. Our girlfriends who also play a major part in what happens with the band and things like that. And everybody's just really put it all together. But to answer your question, that was definitely the moment where it hit us. When we see this guy we've never met before driving this monster, Wacken represented truck to come pick us up, and he's at the airport holding a Wacken open air Mutank sign. It's pretty surreal. Plus at that point in time, everybody was separated up on travels and things like that. I mean, there was 10 of us who went there, band and crew. and we all took different routes and things like that. But we actually met up, right before we had been picked up from the Wacken appointed transport, and to just see each other there in the airport in Germany, like, shit, yeah, we got here and nobody fucking died, and we got here on time, which is amazing, because it's like, you want to jam at 7? Yeah, all right, cool. Like, nobody shows up till like 10:30, right? But I mean, just to be on time was amazing, and then to see that was just, it was mind blowing, and like the driver from that was appointed to us from Wacken, his name was Heinz, he was just all about it. He was like, "Oh yeah, man, I'll take a fucking picture with you guys." It was great, and everybody loved it. It was just a really, really cool feeling, and we were on cloud nine. Like, you could shoot us down, I mean, well, pretty much after we played the show, but at that point we're definitely very happy with what we had done. We were very happy with what we accomplished. We were definitely very proud to have gotten to this point, to represent Canada and things like that. But at the same time, it's like we worked really, really hard in the past year. We did not stop. It's it's very rewarding to have that kind of recognition, and I would definitely recommend this battle, this Wacken battle, to any band from any country across the world, to jump into. If you're serious about what you're doing, for sure. You got nothing to lose.
Before we get to the actual Wacken, your set, last year, Crimson Shadows from Canada, they were the Wacken Metal Battle Canada winners last year.
Absolutely.
Prior to you guys departing for Wacken, or even when you got there, was there any words from the guys over at Crimson Shadows?
Well, yeah, I remember one thing sticking out in particular. When we won in Toronto, when we took it for Canada, the guys, they were there. They're part of the whole spectacle, and I'm sure they're happy to be out there as well. Great guys. And they they got us up on stage when our name was called out. And, it was a celebration there for about, 10, 15 seconds before, flashes started going off, and we got on the mic and things like that. And I remember one of the members from his band, I don't remember his name, I believe he was a guitar player, and he said, "You have no idea what's about to happen to you. Even if you don't win, you have no idea what's going to happen," And none of us have ever been there to Wacken before. Now, we've heard some crazy stories, but these guys are just like, look, been there or not, it's coming your way, and you guys deserve it. It's great. So represent.
Was he right, though? Did you have no idea?
Absolutely. I mean, my head is still in Wacken. Like, I think all of our heads are still in Wacken. Like, it's great to be back home and things like that. It's cool to have a bed, I guess, but put me back there in Wacken. Like, if that was an eternity, hell yeah, man, make it happen.
So you guys arrive at Wacken for, you guys are obviously given, told, I guess you probably knew already ahead of time when your set time was. You guys got ready, and now when you guys hit the stage, what was that feeling walking? I mean, it was obviously the largest crowd you've ever played in front of. What was going through your head as you walked out on the stage and you saw all those eyeballs staring at you?
Bring it, slay him, kill him, crush the competition, do everything we possibly can. Go there, make contacts, networks, just go there and make it happen for the band. This is our one opportunity to really make it so. It's like winning a lottery, really. I mean, like all across Canada, how many bands had basically applied for this, for this job, or bought this lottery ticket, if you will. I mean, there were hundreds across Canada who tried and didn't even get into the competition. And then I believe there was over 100 who made it into the competition, and through that at all, I mean, we took it. So to be there, it was like you would do what any other band would do in that position. It's make the most out of it, I mean, there were certain points of the competition and things like that where we're kind of blown away by the people that we're meeting. I mean, Wacken had it so well arranged that, per day in the artist lounge, the VIP area, you could go and spend time to people who are just, kind of chilling there, waiting to speak with the bands from all across the world. People from Napalm Records, people from Seasons of Mist, people from Seabreeze Touring. I mean, you go up for 5 seconds and you've made more contacts than you could have in the past month trying via Facebook or whatever it was, I mean, the networking connections was amazing, thanks to Wacken, hands down for sure. And, it was just like all around incredible experience.
Now I know, I spoke to Crimson Shadows last year when they won. Now when you were over there, when you were at Wacken, even before or after your set, was there any of the other bands, like even the major headliners that come across mind that you bumped into and said, hey, how's it going?
Well, no, I mean, unfortunately, we tried to sneak into their backstage, but that wasn't going to happen. Security was mega, mega tight, so that means they're doing a great job over there, right? Yeah, it would have been great to run into, Lemmy or Dave Mustaine or something, but it just didn't happen. The way that it worked, it was like all the competing bands were kind of, brought to one backstage because they were all playing at one specific area of Wacken that much of the larger bands were not playing. And yeah, unfortunately, we just did not have a chance to meet them in person. However, like I mentioned, Wacken had arranged that, a lot of heavy hitters, a lot of heavyweights there from record labels and touring agencies. I mean, you name it, people were there and they're willing to talk to you and chat it up and things like that. So there was nothing lost. I mean, a conversation with Lemmy would definitely not go astray any day. But we made the most out of it, and we definitely networked and connected as much as possible. I mean, it was unreal, really unreal.
Now, you guys, you finished your sets. You came off, and obviously, I've seen the pictures. You guys slayed hard. You represented Canada, amazingly. We're all very proud of you.
Thank you.
What can we expect? What can the fans and the listeners expect from Mutank in the in the future? In the future,
well, basically we were writing a new record, and it was pretty much done until we got tied up with this whole Wacken fiasco. Like my singer says it best, Steve Out Reynolds. It's like the album will be done right now. We didn't have to go play Wacken, but we got interrupted. So basically, we've got a new album on the way very soon. All the music is written. It's the last album, Mech Metal, basically on, how should you say, it's on steroids. The last album on steroids or on methamphetamines or something like that. It's just more explosive, more in your face, more intense, just a major elaboration of the last record, but a lot more surprises, things that are going to come out of left field and just crush it all, it's just a great opportunity to bring this kind of music to people who are just kind of dying for it, There's a major thrash metal scene, like all across the Maritimes in Canada. I know on the eastern seaboard of the States, things like that, very close to where we are. There's a lot of huge thrash bands coming out of there and things like that. We've got a lot of really cool ideas. The new record's going to slay for sure, which is going to be coming out, as soon as possible. We're ready to jump in the studio now. We're just trying to figure out the best way to do so. Got a lot of new merch, a lot of new artwork, a lot of very interesting. It sounds like to me you guys are not telling us that you guys are getting prepared for a cross Canada, maybe even North American tour. Is that what I'm starting to smell? You smell right. It's coming now for sure. We're just kind of making the final touches and things like that on it right now. Like we've made so many contacts and friends and things like that throughout what I've done in the past year. I mean, it's just constantly growing. It's a very hungry underground network that's going on here, and everybody's willing to help each other out. I mean, if you meet somebody with the Arsenal hat, in Wacken or something like that, they're going to be like, "Hey, man, come on over and play a concert." One of our photographers we never met before was just, "Hey, come on over, make it happen." Got a lot of fucking very interesting opportunities en route for sure. We just can't wait to go out and hit the road. We've got a lot of good contacts that came out of Europe as well. So that's definitely another avenue that we would like to pursue as soon as possible, because none of us like working really.
Now, before we get back to working hard on the more Mutank music, what, as a guitarist, Lee, what's biggest influence?
Biggest influence? Well, that's a pretty good question. I mean, if you're speaking rhythmically, I would probably have to say Tony Iommi. When I first picked up a guitar, I don't know, 12 years ago. I'm almost 26 now, so Yeah, definitely the Iron Man for sure. I mean, you know, who could you really relate to that otherwise? I mean, if you're going to say anybody else, it all boils down to him anyway, because they've all ripped him off.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I would definitely say Tony Iommi in my early stages of, you know, of ripping it up, and then you know, progressing as a guitar player and things like that. Definitely Dave Mustaine, Gary Holtz, you know, both rhythmic lead guitar players, things of that nature. I also listen to a lot of different, like, old school underground, like 1920s and 30s blues. I listen to a lot of different stoner rock, you know, things like that. We all listen to a lot of different styles of music. Like Steve Out Reynolds, he listens to a lot of hip hop and things like that, and it actually carries over unexpectedly in his vocals, which play a major part in the feel of the band for sure. I mean, if you combine my blues influence plus his hip hop vocal rhythmic patterns within his vocal lines, things like that, I mean, it really creates something that is really quite different, you know. Mm-hmm. And the new album will definitely showcase that. I mean, you're not going to hear like, you know, slide guitar over like, you know, beatbox or anything like that, but all in a metal transfusion. I mean, it all comes down to that. It's that influence that comes and paves the way. It's just trying to do, not something completely outrageously different, but some kind of influence that just stands apart on its own. And we always felt that we have. I mean, being outcast growing up and things like that. And like I said before, chilling in our basements playing our guitars. That's what we've come to. That's what we've come to be, basically.
Awesome. All right, everybody. This is, of course, Lee. He is the lead guitarist for the band Mutank. They are the Wacken Metal Battle Canada winners that represented Canada over at the Wacken Open Air. They're also the Broken Neck Radio's 2-time Band of the Month. So don't forget, from now until the end of this month, you'll be able to hear one of their tracks played every 90 minutes.
Fuck yeah.
Giving them lots of airtime. All right, Lee, thanks again for your time. I'm going to leave you with your parting words. This is your opportunity to say what you want to say to the fans. Go.
Thank you, Broken Neck Radio. I would just like to say thanks a lot for all the support for having us. Number one, fucking 2 months in a row. Shit, yeah, I think it might be a record. If not, smack me with a beer bottle. It's all good. So yeah, keep in touch and check us out on Facebook. Find out what's going on next. New album coming out very soon. New tours are going to be coming your way, and keep it real. That's it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody.